Hey guys, welcome back to this week's episode of TnT. As you can see this week, we'll be playing Mahjong while we talk. If you're a Chinese or someone who grew up playing Mahjong, please let us know what we're doing wrong in the comments. Please take just a second to click the like button and the subscribe button, and turn on the notifications so you don't miss an episode. As always, we hope you enjoy this week's episode. Thank you for watching.
Here's Johnny and Sam.
And me!
Here's the literal tea. What are you drinking?
I'm drinking a chai that got cold, so I freshened it up with a lot of milk.
I'm drinking a very little bit of coffee.
Same for me too. What are you drinking?
I'm gonna put like a little placard there with elevator music.
So we're playing Mahjong. We're not playing the American version because the American version is a complete hoax. You have to like get a card that's sold by a specific people.
Such a scam.
It's horrible. So they basically just force you to subscribe to a game. And this one, the rules always stay the same. It's a lot better, and it's not a fake and a fraud.
You're not an intellectual. You're a fake and a fraud.
Okay, I'm gonna organize my tiles and then we'll start talking.
Okay.
I'm just gonna...
Sci-fi
Oh wait,
and
one more thing. We need to stop talking over each other. I realized I just ran you over, but I noticed we're running each other over. That's really hard to subtitle. Okay, so let's talk about censorship.
Is this an off-camera discussion?
I feel like this is the hottest tea in the room right now.
You
Okay.
probably will get censored anyway, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did
It's-
Twitter have the right to censor you know who?
Donald J.
Trump.
Did they have the right?
I think we all agree that they did have the right.
Well, okay. So interesting. I'm going to throw in here as a thought experiment because, by the way, I'm not entirely sure whether they had the right or not. I have no idea.
Really?
Would I have done the same thing if I was Twitter? No, because I believe that in order for divisiveness in America to end, both sides need to be able to freely state what they think. But do I agree that Twitter has the right to do that? Well, I think they might because it's their platform.
They might have the right.
But the people who argue against that say that, okay, electricity. Our electricity is owned by central main power.
Mm-hmm.
Technically, under that class, it's a class of utilities in America. And the class of utilities means that you can't refuse service to people groups.
Do you think that Twitter is a utility?
That's the question.
Interesting.
Because people who think Twitter is more of a utility, to the point where it's become this kind of free speech, open debate platform, think that no, in a situation like that, you shouldn't be able to refuse service. Peter Thiel and Elon Musk founded PayPal together. Peter Thiel has pointed out a company behavior that happens at companies of really large scales. That company behavior is basically to hedge themselves. For example, when you think of Google, they're the largest search provider. If you're the government and you're like, is a company a monopoly? Should we regulate them? And you look at Google, they're like, well, clearly they have a monopoly on the search market, which is a pretty popular market, so they should be regulated. What Google does to keep that exact scenario from happening is they say, oh, we're not a search engine company, we're a technology company. So they escape from being, because there's so many technology companies.
Mm-hmm.
Basically what they do is they try to swim in a larger pond to avoid a monopoly.
Interesting.
And when you think about Twitter, this open debate platform that exists on the internet, try to think of another open debate platform that comes to mind. Parler, which got shut down, got hacked, by the way.
Parler got hacked?
Yeah,
By the way,
did you hear about this? Like 20 terabytes of data got leaked.
Okay, so we found your tea.
Yeah.
Tech
This
tea.
is the tech tea. Basically what happened is that Parler is a debate platform used by a lot of like Republicans, and it said that it's used by like a lot of right-wing, very right-wing
Conservatives.
people.
Is it technically debate? It's basically Twitter 10 years
The
ago.
way they phrase it is Twitter without the censorship. So if you go on there, whereas Twitter might flag things that seem offensive or dangerous, like trying to organize riots or things like that, Parler won't do any of that. When Amazon shut down that, I can't remember if they moved or they hadn't moved yet. Basically what happened is it caused an authentication error. People who in an article were listed as security researchers, that's false. They're not security researchers, they're hackers. Security researchers follow the law. But security researchers basically exploited an authentication bug, which allowed all their accounts to be made admin accounts, with the admin
my
accounts, they
goodness.
went in and they downloaded people's like account. I think it was the major thing they downloaded was people's private messages, which weren't allowed to be
Oh
seen.
no.
They downloaded like 20 terabytes of it, and they
And-
leaked it all out to the internet
Even-
over Twitter.
How do direct messages even add up to 20 terabytes?
You start adding images and stuff like that, and
True.
before you know it, you're sorry. You got me on a tech rant. And
That was pretty good, actually. I was impressed.
I think it was wrong, but it was within their right to remove Donald Trump, the president of the United States, off of Twitter. It doesn't seem right.
Wait, you think it was within their right to remove him?
I think it was within their right. I don't think it was a good decision. However, the removal of Parler just goes to show that this is not like about like, well, this is our platform, so we don't want that voice on this platform.
yeah.
It's no, we don't want this happening anywhere, even something that's not our platform.
Do you consider these large companies monopolies? And if you do, then antitrust laws need to go into effect. These companies need to either be like
Sam's dropping
split
all
up.
the tea.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I mean, okay, let me reel it back for a minute, because I know we have a different audience. You know, we have Democrats and Republicans.
And conservatives and liberals and independents.
I think one
and
thing
Green
that-
parties.
exactly.
And Karen the vegan teacher.
Exactly. I hope she's watching this. Karen the vegan teacher, if you're watching this, leave a comment.
Duet this.
Do you feel like this is right no matter what political party you're in, for one single point of reference to own these large functions, which now honestly are a huge part of society?
Enormous.
Enormous. They basically have replaced face-to-face interactions, which
Especially
you
the
can
last
debate
Yes.
whether that's for better or for worse, but you have monopolies on these things.
Twitter's been playing dirty since November 4th. I mean,
I
earlier
feel like
than that.
they've been playing
But I
dirty
think
for a
it
long
really
time.
cranked up around November 4th when they started doing their do you remember their banners on tweets?
Yeah.
Yes.
So basically, if someone posted anything about the election, it would look for a keyword, and then it would put the little banner that says this claim about the U.S. election is disputed. Okay, first of all, no one's certified president-elect until January 6th.
Yes.
Right now, Biden is the president-elect
Mm-hmm.
because it was certified by Congress. If you put something about the election that the algorithm didn't like, it would
Yeah.
basically flag a comment.
Right.
People, here's my viewpoint on it. It's a free service.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't like it, get off.
If you don't like what Donald Trump is saying,
Get
don't
off.
look at it.
If you don't like how Twitter puts up banners and warnings and deletes accounts, get off.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people disappeared from Twitter.
Uh-huh.
I think part of that was people found it boring and they logged off.
Hmm.
You?
I didn't think it was that
Yeah.
entertaining.
Yeah, me too.
Well, it's so funny
quite
because my timeline, I tried to be very like bipartisan. I had conservative and liberal voices in my timeline.
yeah.
As soon as Donald Trump was removed and Sidney Powell and Rudy Giuliani and whoever else was removed or left, it became one voice. It was no longer, there was no conversations anymore.
Mhm.
So that's my view on it.
Yeah.
That's the tea.
And I think, you know, and in some ways, this is a very weird and very different conversational tact, but I think in some ways that actually hurts Twitter's business.
It did. They
Yeah.
lost 5 million on the stock market yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Good.
So no one should have this much power that I'm just going to say it. No one should have as much power as the tech gods do.
Yeah.
Thing is, we gave it to them.
It happened while we were sleeping.
Yeah.
People want to attack Amazon. People want to attack Twitter. They want to attack Instagram. But the truth of the matter is, like, you
Yeah.
are the customer.
If you don't like Jeff Bezos, don't go on Amazon.
If you don't,
It makes me really wonder what it was like when Standard Oil was around.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine that? Because, I mean, think about it. How horrifying is the thought of you wake up tomorrow and one company controls all the gas, one company controls all the banks that you go to.
Yeah.
Like, it's funny to us that those are horrifying, but if we think about Google, we're like, oh no, that's not a problem.
Right? Use DuckDuckGo.
Yeah.
I wasn't paid to say that.
Plug.
I have one more idea, Oreos from you.
I just think if you don't like if people are this angry about Twitter, like if you're unhappy that Donald Trump or any conservative voice or any voice was censored on Twitter, the best thing you can do is probably get off Twitter, delete your Twitter account. Like, make them realize that you're not happy with this.
Yep. So the tea of the day, Harry and Meghan. So they've been gone from the royal family for a year.
Oh, it has been a whole year.
Wow.
Well, my first question is, did they cause COVID? It does seem to kind of coincide. Me starting to that doesn't make any sense.
It's a fake.
You're a fake and a fraud.
Harry and Meghan. I remember watching their wedding. Do you remember we watched their wedding together? They were on the good side then.
I don't think they were on the Queen's good side. Everyone in the royal family basically told him not to marry her. So I don't think anyone ever liked Meghan. And I'm just going to say it. Probably because she's black and they're racist.
You don't think it has to do with the whole being American and divorce thing?
That probably played into it.
I wonder if it's like PTSD, because you guys remember a hot minute ago the guy that abdicated?
I thought you were going to say, do you remember the revolution? He was on the crown.
You're like, I just watched it. He basically abdicated the throne so he could marry an American divorcee.
Was she American too?
Yeah.
She was American and she was a divorcee. It's just interesting, you know?
And Prince William also did not want Prince William also did not want Harry to marry her. He said he had some tea. They weren't going to be happy together.
So here's my thing. Do you think they were always planning to do this?
I think that's one perspective, that this is all being driven by Meghan.
Meghan.
It's all being driven by Meghan Markle. That she's the one that wanted out. And of course he's going to say, it was our decision together.
Interesting.
I put down the Crazy Rich Asians tile.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of Crazy Rich Asians, I think this also ties into what Mrs. Young said. How pursuing your dreams doesn't make an empire.
It's nice you appreciate this house and us being here together wrapping dumplings. But all this doesn't just happen. It's because we know to put family first instead of chasing one's passion.
Upholding centuries of tradition, keeping the money in the family, building an empire. Meghan Markle and Harry's actions were pretty much, we want to have a good life. I'm on their side for the record.
Because here's my thing. Carry on the royal family. What does that mean? The fact that she was an American and the fact that she was divorced, which, rude. Like, how dare you disqualify someone for those two things? Was a detractor for them. And I feel like that was a detractor for them because they wanted an English woman with a spotless record.
Here's the ironic part about that. Harry's mom was Diana.
Yeah.
It's just Diana all over again. I don't know the whole pot of tea, but as far as I know, Diana was not spotless.
Neither was
And
her husband.
She was abused by
Yeah.
him, and that counts for something. But she wasn't, I wanted to say she wasn't Kate, but was Kate Kate? Tea on Kate?
I don't have too much tea on Kate, actually.
Oh
I
my
don't think
goodness. It
anyone
took me a
does.
second to recognize that because they've been out of the news cycle for so long, I feel like.
Yeah, she's kind
I've
of...
hardly heard
The-
anything about her.
The first time I heard her talk, I was actually weirdly shocked she had a British accent. Kate. She doesn't...
Because she looks like my sister.
Maybe. I don't know. I just didn't... For some reason, I don't know why I wasn't expecting it. She doesn't give off...
British vibes.
Yeah.
She assimilated pretty quickly, I think. Because she was also a commoner, right?
Did they meet
Yeah.
in, like, a very fancy college?
A pub. Oh, probably.
I think they went to college together. I think that's... I actually take the opinion that I think it was their decision, but I think they made the decision very early on together.
To go at some point.
Yeah. Now,
That vibes.
I can see people taking issue with the fact that they basically wasted a lot of money by having this big royal wedding when they were just going to potentially just leave. So maybe either they just wanted the big wedding and then to...
But what do you
They
mean by
wanted the attention.
wasted? It's like,
No,
that's literally your children.
it's not their money. It wasn't their money, though.
That's-
That's taxpayer money.
Yeah.
OT.
And then after they went back to America, they signed a deal with Netflix and then used that money to pay back the taxpayers for renovating the house that they didn't actually use in the end. So this is hot tea.
Interesting. What do you think's going to happen next with the monarchy?
All right, fashionistas. The question is monarchy in or out? I think monarchy's... It's looking pretty out.
Yeah, it's looking kind of dim.
Well, there's a weird picture, and I'm going to put it up, of... They're in Africa, I think, and they're on, like, these litters. It's a weird look for 2021.
Yeah, definitely.
So is
It's a
monarchy
little sus.
out? The sun might be setting for now.
Yeah.
That's my take.
If I look at this from their perspective, imagine you're Meghan and Harry. Mary Hagan. That gives me creepy vibes. And you're basically being asked, put your life on hold, basically serve a public appearance, not really much political power, just basically being like an advertisement for a country.
Yeah.
And for Meghan, a country that's not really even like hers. She doesn't feel like that same loyalty.
I don't think he feels that same loyalty. You can't weaponize doing things for people as like you need to stay here and put the rest of your life on hold. Because I feel like that's what the royal family is doing. They're like, put your life on hold, just basically be a figurehead.
That's their job.
That sounds really boring because it's especially like
just go?
be a figurehead and get
Yeah, he did.
super observed under the public eye and we'll give you some money for it. That's not a life.
I agree with you, but I think it's a lot harder than that because it takes a toll on you. There's the head of state and the head of government. The head of state would be the queen. It's a ceremonial job.
Right.
The head of government would be the prime minister. The weird thing about America is that our president is the head of state and the head of government. So he
Right.
does the ceremonial duties. He also does the executive duties.
Yeah.
And so the royal family's function, I'm probably wrong. If I'm wrong, I'll leave it to you guys in the comments to straighten me out.
Well, I might straighten you out.
The job of the royal family is they own England. England literally belongs to them, right? And then the executive branch or the governmental branch controls it for them. So I side with Harry and Meghan. I think, good for them for starting a life.
I think the further away you are from the crown, the less you should have responsibility.
What does that mean?
If you are going to be king one day, or you're going to be,
Queen?
will she technically be queen?
Yeah, but it'll be like a weird kind of tack on queen.
Yeah, that's
Will
what
she
I don't. I understand, but I also that's the thing I always kind of hated about Elizabeth and Philip's marriage is that he's technically not king.
You're talking about the crown, aren't you?
No,
Because they covered that tea a lot.
Did they cover that? Because
Yeah, they
honestly,
did.
I don't. It's been
That's like the whole first season is
yeah, it's been like 2 years for me since I've watched
Matt
the first
Smith
season.
Right.
griping about how he has nothing to do.
Right. Oh, what'd you put down?
I put down the dome.
When the short-term memory loss hits.
By the way, I've been transcribing. My short-term memory has gone through the roof. Because you have to hold everything in memory while
Yes.
you're typing.
So this seems like a pretty, I guess I'm going to make this more divisive because it seems like we're all pretty much on the same page.
Yep.
Like, good for you guys. Get out of there. Did Meghan manipulate Harry into doing it?
Do we know any facts about this?
No, I don't know if
think
we
we
can
do. I
really
think it's all
speak to it.
speculative.
Yeah.
Seeing them and knowing them through what you've seen, does she seem like the kind of person that would marry into the royal family and manipulate him? You gotta ask, who's the audience? I think, like Becca said,
Consider the source.
what's she got to gain? Like, why would she do that?
Right.
Is it for clout?
If she really was a gold digger, why would she do that?
Why would you gold dig the prince?
No, why would you gold dig the prince and then leave?
Oh, the prince who's not even in line for the... Oh, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Which brings up the other question, which is, did she do it for love? A lot of commentators are saying that she didn't marry him for love, and they say she's going to drop him on his head
If she didn't marry him for love, why'd she do it?
because he's loaded.
I mean, obviously,
She's movies-
royal rich and
Exactly.
movie star rich are
Yeah.
very different.
Yeah.
But TV star rich,
And movies.
what movie?
I think 2 movies, but I don't know.
2 movies and then she was on Suits.
Yeah, she's a TV star.
Yeah, I think that's the case.
Does anyone know how they met?
A blind date set up by a mutual friend.
Who was
What
the
a
mutual
weird
friend,
blind date.
right?
I know.
Hey, I've got somebody for you.
It's the prince.
That is a weird way to meet.
Yeah.
I think half this episode will be the clips of the Mahjong ASMR. Specifically. Oh! Actually, I think
Nice.
that would be worth a lot.
Like, not that we're counting, but it would probably be like.
Guys, I don't know about you, but my tea is cold.
My
The tea is cold.
my coffee
is cold.
The tea is cold.
I've got a bit of an advertising plug this week. I've just opened up my merchandise shop, so if you go to zedlo.com/shop, even if you don't buy anything, just jump on over and see what I have up. You'll be able to see everything I have up for sale: t-shirts, mugs, including the stuff that I'm wearing and drinking out of this episode. Thank you for watching.